Hi everyone, welcome to Spirit of Art Studio. This is my studio space, and today I want to talk to you about the way I prepare to create one of my drawing meditations. I think the whole process of drawing and meditating started when I was a little girl. Most people call it doodling, and I've been doing this my whole life, basically drawing a feeling or trying to express an emotion. A lot of times I'm starting with a sensation in my body or with a feeling that I'm trying to express or understand in a better way. So today I pulled out my materials, and the materials I like to use the most are watercolor paper and Prismacolor NuPastels. I'm in the process of becoming more comfortable with painting as a medium, but the one thing I come back to over and over again is working with the pastels. Because it's easy, because it comes in a pack of colors already made, so I can work very, very quickly. And I can either create thin lines, thick lines, or I can smudge. And I can do lots and lots of layering without having to wait for anything to dry. So I get an immediate reaction. I can sit down for anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes or even an hour in order to create a drawing. It all depends on my mood at the time and my energy level. So basically today I sat down and I really lost track of the time. I'd have to tell you that it probably was no more than 20 minutes of drawing. And I wanted to share with you what it looks like. So basically, these are the NuPastels. They come in a pack of, this one is, let's see, 96 colors. I don't know if it comes in any more than that. I think it's the biggest I could find at the art store. And you can see there's certain colors that I'm drawn to all the time, and I end up breaking them in half because it makes them much easier to use. And then I also have these colors, and you can see these are the colors that I used today, the ones that are still left out. And I tend to be drawn to purples and greens and pinks. A lot of times I feel like the colors that I use are ones that I'm very aware of as centers in my body or chakras, energy centers, where I feel like I'm working on. And if you've learned anything about the color and what color means to individual people as an artist, or if you've learned a little bit about color in like a yoga class, for example, colors are associated with different emotions. So for me, being a Reiki practitioner, whenever I use the color pink or I use the color green, I think of how it's a heart energy. Usually these are associated with a peaceful feeling, and if the word pink or the color pink comes into my eye, or if it's the color I'm looking at when I first look over at my pastels, if I look at that color, I know that that's something important, and I usually associate it with something to do with healing an area in my body. Blue was something that I use a lot, and I happen to use like a turquoisey blue, and then a paler blue, and then more towards like a green, leaning more toward the turquoise into green. I ended up using these today, and all of these I associate with the throat chakra and also with creativity. Turquoise happens to be a stone that in Native American tradition is associated with healing and opening up your creativity. It also could somehow be related to, I feel like it's related to the third eye, even though it's not directly correlated with yoga. But anything in the blues, usually the blue chakra is here, and then, sorry, I'm looking at a bunny hop across my yard, so it's a little, being a creative person, I'm a little easily distracted, so it's kind of like squirrel, and then your attention goes somewhere else. So sorry for that. Sorry for my loss of attention. being a creative person, you're going to be inspired by things around you, and you're going to be very sensitive and tuned into your emotions and what's going on, other people's emotions and what's going on around you. So for me, I feel like I have to do a lot of these drawings in order to release a lot of the energy that I've taken upon myself or my interaction with other people. I'd like to talk at length another time about being an empath, or somebody who is very sensitive to their surroundings. I feel like as an artist, it's important for me to take the time to do these drawing meditations. It's a way of healing myself, of working through my energy, and then also being able to reflect upon what I'm experiencing, because I have this beautiful product of that experience here in front of me. And it's a wonderful way of sharing that with other people in a very abstract way. So it's a way of, releasing my emotions, but it's safe. It doesn't, it feels safe to me. I feel comfortable sharing these with people. The only thing that's a problem when you're doing expressive arts or you're doing a meditation like this is a lot of people don't understand what it is that you're doing. They may not understand how to look at your artwork. And so that's something else I want to talk about as well. So getting back to the process, another color that I use a lot today is I use gray. And when I was picking up gray, I had a question in my mind: what is this all about? And the answer I heard in my mind was it has to do with consciousness or thinking. So it's sort of, you think about black and white thinking, and how gray has to do with sort of your thought process, the logics of your thought process. And so I thought that was kind of interesting the way it came in, and I kind of associate this with my my sixth chakra here, which has to do with consciousness. It's also associated with like an indigo blue, or a dark blue, and I did use a little bit of turquoise blue in here. I also used some purple, which I relate to your opening of your chakra. Magenta is also a really good color related to your crown chakra. Purples have to do with spiritual awakening and how you're bringing in energy and you're understanding divine messages to you. So all of these things are going on in my work of art today. So this is the painting that I created. And as you can see, it's like an 18 by 24 inch piece of paper. And I started off with this vertical line, which turned into a lot of little small circles at the top, which later on I enclosed. And as I was working, I felt inspired to rotate my picture and start working at it from this direction. And then I turned it again and I was working on it from that direction. And then in the ends, I came back in and then I added some more details here. So I think it's important that when you're creating a meditation or a drawing or artwork of any kind, that you follow your intuition. You let yourself be guided to choose the colors you want to choose and create the shapes you want to shape. And if you're not sure if it's done, just ask yourself inside, am I done? And the answer will come. It'll just be yes or no. And you pick up a new color when you feel like it. I think it's important to look at things from a new perspective and to explore and play with colors, shapes, and materials as much as possible. I have a few minutes left before my battery dies because I forgot to plug it in. So I just want to talk a little bit about empaths. An empath is basically somebody who grew up their whole life where people were saying you're too sensitive. You might be, you know, when other people were upset around you, you might sort of take that upon yourself and get really upset. And empathetic is definitely part of it. But it also has to do with, you know, if you're in a loud room and, you know, you have a hard time concentrating on conversations, or if there's like a weird buzzing going on in the room and you happen to notice it, no one else notices it, you know, chances are you might end up being an empath. And you might want to do a research about what an empath is, take a little quiz online, because arts could be doing art and doing meditation, for example, could be a really good vehicle for you, the way I found it to be for me. And so in the future, I want to have some more videos showing you different ways that you can use art and different ways that you can use meditation. And there's also some energy healings or guided meditations that we could do that would help you to get in touch with your feelings, figure out what's yours, what's somebody else's, and how to release all that so that you can have a happy, healthy life. And so you can keep, you know, and then in the, you know, and if you keep doing these drawing meditations, you have these beautiful works of art that you can share with other people. So that brings me back to my other thing that we were talking about is how do you explain this to other people, and how can you talk about it? And, you know, basically, when people are looking at a drawing meditation, it's helpful if you tell them that this is something that I did intuitively, that I used colors and shapes to express my emotions. And so it doesn't necessarily have a story, and it may not have a subject. You may not know what it's about. And everyone is going to see something different in it. I'm going to see something different in it each time that I look at it. How I'm feeling today, I see like a little eye in there, and I see wings. And I'm very curious about what these gray semicircles are. The orbs feel like something energetic happening within my body that's processing or releasing. And I feel like there's multiple layers of things that are going on. It could be spiritual, could be physical ailments that I'm releasing, it could be emotions that I'm releasing. It's really kind of more about connecting and understanding myself and going into and understanding my consciousness, and sort of getting in there and playing. Really, it was just a lot of playing today. You have to trust yourself that whatever it is that you're doing is the right thing, and whatever it is you're saying is the right thing. In some way, artists are kind of like channels. Channels are people who sort of tap into this universal consciousness, and when you do that, you can understand yourself, and you can understand your place in the world and what you're experiencing, and then you can take it to another level, understanding what's going on in the world around you. But as an artist, we tend to focus on ourselves, trying to work on and express what's going on within us. And so I think that the gray is interesting because it feels like there's something more going on, and I haven't figured it out. Since I haven't figured it out from drawing, one thing that I like to do is I keep a journal. And in my journal, I will write down what's happening with me. So if I have, for example, I was doing a meditation this morning, and it was called a butterfly meditation. It's from Chun-Yi Lin and the Spring Forest Qigong. I've been studying Qigong for a little while now, and I just got this meditation. And when I came out of the meditation, I had this feeling of being very, very sad. And the first words I thought were, I don't want to be here. It's so hard to be here. If you're a creative person, you might feel like you just are overwhelmed with everybody, and it's a struggle to fit in. It's a struggle to go about your daily life. And when you're with other people, you want to be with people, but it seems a little overwhelming. So, and I woke up and I was feeling really, really heavy, and I was supposed to be feeling light after the meditation, but I wasn't. I still had work to do. I still had emotions to process. And I had imagined that there were going to be other people with me in this meditation. And all the people that I was imagining with me were people that are very similar to myself. They were students of mine who have struggled with feeling like they don't fit in, or they feel betrayed by other people. I'm thinking of a student in particular who explained to me that she was feeling this way. She felt like she was graduating and nobody was going to miss her. And she wasn't going to miss anybody. She felt very disconnected. And her sister came up to me and told me that she was feeling really betrayed by her friends. And I know these are both extremely creative students. They're in my art classes. And I just love them to death. But I thought to myself, you know, I did feel this way when I was their age. And I do feel this way sometimes. Not as much, thank God, as when I was a teenager. But I brought them into the meditation with me. And I can tell you that when I started off my morning, I was depressed. And I don't get depressed very often, but I was extremely depressed. And I had a headache, and I didn't feel like going to the gym and lifting heavy weights, even though sometimes that really works for me. I needed to do some meditation. But the meditation wasn't enough. So Qigong wasn't enough. I needed to come back to my drawing board and to create this. And another thing that I did was I did some yoga, and that helped process more of the energy that was sort of trapped in my legs, making me feel so heavy, so I feel a lot better now. And I think that I'm going to be doing some more journaling about my experience of what was going on in my drawing here. I could easily ask the drawing, what is it that you want to tell me? What are these gray semicircle orbs all about? And so that's the next step in my process. So I just want to thank you for listening to me explain my process today. And I hope that you will come back and watch another video when I start breaking things down step by step by step. The first video I will show you is what a drawing meditation, how you prepare for a drawing meditation. For example, like what kind of meditation can you start with? How do you just sort of prepare yourself to stop thinking, relax, take a deep breath, and how to prepare your space. And then another video I'd like to show you is sort of talk about like music choices, what kind of atmosphere you can create in order to sort of best tap into your intuition and allow yourself to trust yourself to feel and make choices about the colors you use and the motions and the gestures of how you work on a page. Music has a very big and very profound, I just saw a cardinal. That's a very good sign. Cardinals for me are my grandmother, and she's usually there to support me when I'm being creative. So apparently I was saying something important here. Music is really important, and you want to pick music that's going to be inspiring to you and that's going to allow you to express what you're feeling as opposed to changing your mood because of the content of the song. For example, I don't listen to music that has words in it because I'll be influenced by the writer and the artist, the singer's interpretation of the song. I want it to be about me, and I want it to start from my internal experience, and I want it to be expressed out onto the page. So I normally use music that doesn't have any words, and I'll get into more about what your choices are and give you some resources on that. And the other video that I would like to share with you is some ways that you can use yoga and you can use Qigong in order to help you prepare for a drawing meditation or to help you process a drawing meditation. Because all of this is part of a process. And as an artist, which you probably are if you're watching this, or somebody who's drawn to being creative, even if you're not an artist, we can get into what it means to be an artist, because that's a loaded statement. I'd like to I think I've talked about that in some of my other videos, but I'll go into it some more in detail. So thank you again for coming. This is Lori Reiner. I'm at Spirit of Art Studio, and this is me just sort of riffing in my studio today. So thank you for coming. Take care and have a wonderful day.